News Center Maine is partnering with the Maine-Monitor to bring you some of the reporting being done by journalists at this nonprofit independent publication. We are featuring one of their stories every Monday. Today, we're talking about migrant housing and alleged labor violations. Worcester Resources is a family-run company in Washington County that makes wreaths for Wreaths Across America, a nonprofit that places wreaths on veterans' graves around the country. Worcester was fined by federal labor officials earlier this year for what the feds say are serious housing abuses of its migrant workforce. Emmett Gartner is a reporter with the Maine-Monitor, which just published his story about Worcester Resources and the company's response to the fines. Emmett, welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Let's begin with when did the federal labor officials inspect the company's facilities, and then what did they find?
Sure. So the federal investigation into Worcester Resources facilities began with a tip from the Maine State Department of Labor last November. They sent along a referral to the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration with a number of complaints about the housing conditions at Worcester Resources. Among the complaints were that the housing facilities were overcrowded, unsanitary, some of the indoor living spaces lacked potable water and indoor plumbing, and had non-functional smoke detectors. Now, when federal labor officials came by a month later to inspect the facilities, they were really only able to verify a handful of the state referrals complaints, namely that the indoor spaces where the migrant laborers were living were in fact overcrowded. Laborers had around 30 square feet in living space in their sleeping quarters, which is roughly the size of a double mattress compared to the 50 square feet that they're supposed to have under OSHA standards. They also found that the area beneath the factory floor of where the wreaths are assembled, where migrants were living, lacked windows and lacked storage space for the laborers. And lastly, they found that the beds for the laborers weren't spaced high enough off the ground as they were supposed to.
So those are the findings. What came about as a result of these inspections?
So ultimately, OSHA fined Worcester for 3 serious citations. The first one related to the lack of space and overcrowding, the second due to the lack of windows and the lack of storage space, and then the third for the beds. Initially, the fine that was proposed was around $23,000, which was inflated because of Worcester's past labor violations. They've been fined around $50,000 over the past 4 years for separate citations. Now, the company was able to negotiate those down from $23,000 to a total of $16,000 in an informal settlement, which is contingent on Worcester Resources fixing all of the issues that kind of sprung the violations in a timely manner.
And how has the company responded in the aftermath?
Sure. So in a statement to the Maine-Monitor, a Worcester official refuted many of the state referrals' initial complaints, pointing at the findings of the OSHA inspector. They also said that the overcrowding in the factory was a result of the laborers' decision to congregate down in that area out of convenience. And lastly, they said that despite the lack of windows, there are 2 emergency exits in that area, and that they would be working to fix the window issue ahead of the wreath-making season this upcoming fall. Part of the quote from the official said, "This company has taken great pride in its protection of the workers and their quality of life. We strive to do better all the time." All
right. That's the final word for now. Emmett, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here. And you can read the full story of Emmett's and much more at the-maine-monitor.org.